Hello and welcome back, Paxians. I'm Altari, the professional gamer, and boy, oh boy, do I have some really exciting news to share with all of you today. A couple of weeks ago, I had a couple of devs reach out to me, and they had an opportunity that I just could not turn down. And that was the privilege to be able to share the world premiere footage and accompanying interviews with all of you for the upcoming Wilderness Alpha, what was previously called Alpha 2. And there is a lot of exciting information that we learned. And the reason why I said interviews is because what Mainframe didn't know is I really, really like to talk. And we had an over 2 hour conversation where I asked all of the exciting and important questions that I know all of you have been interested to hear the answers for. What we decided is that we are going to split all of this interview into several different sections covering different areas and aspects of Pax Dei and some of the most exciting and important areas that have changed over the last alpha to this alpha. So there is a lot to cover, and over the next 5 weeks, we are going to be exploring all of those different things that have changed or updated since the last time anyone has had the opportunity to be in Pax Dei. Tomorrow, on March 22nd, we are going to have our first interview, which is going to be covering combat in game. And there's been a lot of exciting changes with combat, and I believe it's gone in a really positive direction from the last alpha. So we're going to be talking about a lot of that tomorrow. But then on March 29th, we're going to be talking about one of the most anticipated subject areas for Pax Dei, and that is player versus player. Next Friday, March 29th, we are going to be having our interview section on that. Then the following Friday, we will be taking a delve into some dungeons and talking with the devs about PvE related topics as well as exploration. And then the Friday after that, we will be talking about crafting in Pax Dei, and there has been a lot of positive and exciting changes with regards to the crafting system. There are a lot of different types of gear that we have access to, and then more importantly, there is now durability. So we are going to be learning about all of those aspects as well, and we will be going over all of those and more before you all get access to Alpha 2, which is going to be on April 23rd, which I believe is a Tuesday, and that is going to be the day that everyone gets access into the Wilderness Alpha. So I have kind of a highlight reel of some of the more exciting topics that we are going to cover in our various interviews over the next several weeks. And that is just for all of you to kind of get a taste of some of the information that we're going to be getting access to. If that kind of thing interests you and you want to make sure that you get updates whenever we post new content with regards to Pax Dei, including all of the interviews that are going to be coming out over the next couple of weeks, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Like this video if you enjoy the type of content that we're making, and share with any of your friends who might be interested in Pax Dei. All right, I'm going to hand it off to our interviewer slash interviewees, and I will see you tomorrow for the combat interview section. Until next time, Paxians, I'm Altari, the professional gamer.
Hey, yeah, I'm Solga. I'm the Chief Product Officer.
Yeah, hi, I'm Peter, Design Director at Mainframe.
What things have changed in Alpha 2 that, were different from Alpha 1, and what are some of the big features that are coming to us for Alpha 2?
Yeah, Alpha 1 was like the first time we were able to like invite a lot of people to come and actually play with the game that we had been building. And like before that, we had a lot of like small tests, like friends and family tests, etc. This was the first time we actually had like a large volume of people to come and interact with and like see what actually emerges, like from the simple mechanics that we had in there, what would actually emerge. And like we're super happy to see that like most of our main assumptions were actually held up, and like people were actually able to like make things that we didn't predict, which is kind of the holy grail. Like is that like so we don't actually want to be able to predict everything people can do, because then it's not truly kind of immersive, and like but we weren't like ready with like all of the things that we wanted to provide to the players. So like the focus of Alpha 1 was like very kind of was very clear. And we had only started to kind of, give some taste for like combat and PvE, but it wasn't quite there yet. It's going to take a long time to get it to the quality bar that we do want to hit, but we put a lot of effort now into like taking some of the important steps to actually like add more depth to combat, add more depth to progression. Some of it's already in the Friends and Family test now, but like a lot of it is still kind of it's going to be there for Alpha 2. So that's one part of it. Part of the kind of fundamental things that we've been working on for combat has exactly been like blocking and like you know, so like shield blocking and like block breaks and like like deflecting attacks and like creating openings and stuff like that. And those aren't like tied to like the target lock. The target lock is more just like to the player preference kind of on top that should work with either. The block breaks and block deflection and like parrying with or like blocking with a shield or parrying with a weapon are things that you'll see in Alpha 2. Dodging not, but like dodging is basically it's not planned to be part of the kind of the baseline abilities that you have, but rather like in a suite of kind of abilities that you can get access to based on your gear. So it's basically part of your kind of combat fit, whether or not you have like a dodge ability.
So there's plenty of like the different, like basically the consumables. There's a lot of skills related to that and crafters.
Yep.
And the one big feature that we haven't actually mentioned yet is the items now have wear and tear. And so everything has a durability. And that obviously means that we're still in the process of looking at how hard is it to manufacture everything, because like with durability, there needs to be a good balance between the how difficult is it to actually make something if it's going to eventually break. And with the durability as well, there's a kind of first pass balancing of how many times can you repair an item before it's permanently broken, and that's something that we're going to be tweaking in the future as well.
At the high end of the recipes that you can make in it right now is like a blueprint or like a component to make like the next crafter of that type, and make like a kind of a leap in your progression. And that is just to set goals for you to like this is the kind of range of items that you're kind of unlocking and discovering in the crafter, and when you're like reaching the end of that, you can like get to make the next kind of tier of that crafter. And once you've built that one, you don't really need the old one, because the new crafter of that type will allow you to like make any of the recipes from that profession.
We've expanded the amount of different resources you can find in the world quite significantly since the first alpha, and so there's opportunities for people to actually go and explore in the wildlands outside of the home valleys and search for things and actually bring that back to the valleys. And this is something that you can solo quite easily. You obviously do need to be a bit careful, because the enemies in the wildlands are very dangerous now. And
Watch
but
out
like
for bears. They're
I found a couple of those.
But,
they
yeah,
found you.
so for solo players, yeah, like there's definitely like ability for people to produce something that is very valuable and desired. It's just the game as it stands today doesn't give a lot of like meaningful ways for people to trade, which I'm kind of assuming is your next question. So
what is new about dungeons in game? What's kind of been added since the last time players were able to get access to it in Alpha 1?
The dungeon team is like kind of working on right now, just like kind of hardening and polishing and making the dungeons kind of the level design, like iterating on that basically. And we have a lot of really cool stuff that we want to do in dungeons, and we have so much of the content right now that we're gonna, for some of it for Alpha 2, but also just like continuously keep updating and making them kind of live up to the kind of quality and like meaningfulness that we want, like working in the ideas that we really want to like introduce there, before expanding and like making like wholly different kind of dungeon content in the game, because we have a lot of kind of square footage right now to cover and make better. In terms of like incentives to go there, like the Alpha 1 dungeons, like you said, could basically, they were like the difficulty was not really there, that people could kind of just circuit naked, like wearing without
Basically
any kind of basically nothing. That is drastically changed, as I'm sure you've like painfully discovered in the current game. And there are multiple like rare enemies that you can encounter if you kind of go to any of these places and camp out in them and like look for them for long enough. Who drop these rare kind of relics that you use to craft any of the spell gear. So like any like gear with like special abilities and spells.
Can you explain the PvP system and what we can kind of expect in Alpha 2?
One overarching goal is that we actually don't have like two very separate systems where like you need objectively like completely different gear for PvP than PvE. Of course, people will like however the meta kind of course there will be like some things you prefer to wear in PvP and in PvE, but if you're just geared for one, you should be able to partake in the other without like kind of terrible drawbacks. So there's like a new separate hotbar for that, apart from your like item bar basically, and that is the extension of inventory. So we have like 5 dedicated slots for like activated abilities or spells, and 2 dedicated slots for like special attacks or special abilities from your weapons. There's a new region that you can access from any of the other kind of provinces. And that province is our kind of test bed for PvP mechanics and like getting feedback from our players on where they would like to see PvP go, and like as a baseline for us to kind of communicate what we want to do with it in the future. That region called Lyonesse is very abundant of like certain like high quality resources that you can gather. You can still find those resources elsewhere, but it just has like some concentrated spots where it's very lucrative to go and actually gather them. And it can also work like as a shortcut between the provinces. So like depending on where you are, it might be faster for you to travel through Lyonesse to get to a different province than if you take like a normal route. So it's set up in a way where nobody has to do PvP. You can progress and do everything in the game without needing to do PvP, but it has some advantages that you can kind of risk your life and gear for, because it is very hardcore. Like it's full loot in that region.
Hopefully we get to do more interviews like this in the future and share more parts of the game. But I guess until next time, Peter, Solka, thank you so much. And yeah, we'll end it there.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.